Hey everyone, for February and the month of love, we've been doing some heart opening work and we're going to continue with that theme today. You'll see I have a broomstick here. If you don't have a broomstick, you can easily use anything about this long. If you have like the strap from your house coat or a belt, those stretchy exercise bands that people work out with, a pant, like really anything will work. We just want to be able to have some tension and it'll improve our body awareness to hold on to something. Once you have that, we're actually going to put it to the side for now and do a couple of different movements first. So to begin, let's take our arms thumbs up and we're going to pull our thumbs back. This would actually be a great break sitting at your desk. You don't have to be standing like me to do it, but we're going to use the strength in our backs to pull our arms back, and our thumbs are actually just a guideline to know how to point our arms. We can relax that thumbs up position when we get here. And we're going to keep using the strength to pull back. So a lot of tension in the back of the body to help open up the front of the body. But let's be aware of what our spines are doing, operating differently from our shoulders. So yes, our arms are pulling back, our shoulders are drawn down and back together, but did you pop your chest up? Or did you leave your spine in more of a neutral shape? One is no better than the other, just something to be aware of, that as we're stretching, we can take advantage of the different angles to use. So notice where your body is now, and let's reset and do it the other way. We can relax those shoulders, give them a few rolls, up, down, and back. Give ourselves some encouragement. So we're gonna slide our shoulder blades down towards the ground and towards one another as we pull back. And this time, let's do the opposite movement with our spines. So if last time you were really popping the chest, let's leave it neutral. We still keep pulling back. And if last time you were neutral, let's go ahead and lift and extend, popping the chest. So we're stretching the abdominals. We're getting a contraction for the back muscles from our tailbone up to the base of our skull. And of course, we're working our upper back, those muscles that pull back. Your choice, we can bend the elbows more and pull, or we can bend the elbows less and pull. And then once we're here, it actually might feel really nice to just have some freedom of movement, tilting the head or turning the head. And the opposite of a chicken pecking at the ground, we're gonna pull the nose back. Let's release. Same thing, we can reset. Any kind of freedom of movement you want to do to kind of digest the stretch between stretches, I completely encourage that. It really helps. Okay, we're gonna do one arm at a time. Same idea. Okay, again, body awareness. Is your whole body pulling? Or can we do it, ideally, so that just the arm moves? So our focus is on stretching out the front line of the chest and shoulder and down the arm. We can have it bent a little or a lot. We are going to do a bent arm position in a minute though, so that might inform your decision to stay a bit straighter. We keep pulling the thumb back and resist the urge to twist. So we're still using some strength, working in two directions, pulling back with the hand and resisting the twist with the rest of our core muscles. We can add on. So pulling back in one direction, and we're going to turn and look away from the arm. So we're pulling again in two directions. Let's make sure we're breathing. You may notice that taking a deep breath, expanding the chest, or noticing movements of the shoulder adds to the stretch. And we may have the chest lifted or neutral. Either is okay, but let's be aware of what we're doing. Plugging the shoulder in. Drawing shoulder blade towards the spine. We can go ahead and let that go. Again, we might like to release, really loose, like an elephant's trunk. And we're ready for the other side. Here we go. Thumbs up. We're gonna pull back in one direction, resist the twist, pulling back in the other direction. You might not think of it, but it is a core exercise to be strong and stable. Not just unconsciously moving with the arm, but to be resisting and pulling back in the opposite direction. Pull, pull, pull. We can keep the thumb up or release it. We can be more bent or more straight, so we're listening to our bodies here. Maybe you've done this video a few times. There is another variation where you can do it bending and straightening the arm as you hold and pull back. Lots of options. So listen to our bodies and we respond. We can add some variety. Strong, strong, strong through the side of the back. We're gonna resist and then turn and look away from the hand. Strong pull, turning our nose in the opposite direction. So we're getting that stretch dynamically in 2 directions. Can we notice our chest? Did we lift it a lot or nothing at all, or maybe somewhere in between? Knowing that we can do both. We're plugging our shoulder in, drawing shoulder blade toward our spine and down toward our back pocket. And here's another thing that sometimes happens. As we turn the head, sometimes the whole body turns with it. So let's make sure we do have that working in opposite direction sensation going on. We're breathing. We may notice increased stretch on an inhale as our ribs expand, and a bit of a softening on the exhale. All right, we're ready to let that go, like an elephant's trunk, nice and loose. All right, let's go ahead and do both together. So keeping in mind, if you've been doing a really big pop with the chest or nothing, maybe doing a different variation this time. Same idea, thumbs up and back. If you've been doing a really bent arm, maybe this time straighten, adding some variety. And we pull back. Maybe noticing we're feeling looser, or we can go further than we did the first time. A little bit of a party trick here. After doing each side individually, we can go further, doing them together. Okay, let's let this go. We're gonna reach in behind. If we like, we can interlace our fingers. We don't have to though. And then the same idea, shoulders down and back. We can do it with a lot of lift in the chest and a back bend, or none at all. I would say the more important thing is that we have the body awareness to know which one we're picking rather than just unconsciously doing it. Okay, we'll let this go. Okay, maybe we're really feeling it in our shoulders. It does take a lot of strength to hold the weight of our own arms. Feel free to rest at any time. You can do this next part seated or a more active variation with me. So we're gonna take our feet, like a ballerina, quite wide. Our toes can be turned out comfortably. So I would say, if you just take a big step out, probably a little further than that, will give us some great alignment, having our knee over top of our heel rather than our knee over top of our toes. So if our feet are too close and we have that classic fitness instructor cue, if we have our knees going past our ankles, let's keep our knees over our ankles. And we can do that by taking our feet wider or just not dropping so deep if this is quite an intense posture for you. Okay, so we're gonna do some movements to warm up our range of motion, and we're gonna stretch again. Let's go ahead and notice how our inner thighs are feeling. We might wanna wiggle our toes. We're gonna lift and lower, and then we're gonna add our arms. So we're still gonna be working with the same theme of shoulders drawn down, back, and towards one another. And we're not doing it, probably not doing it to our absolute maximum. Like, we're not electrocuted in our upper back, but we are drawing our shoulder blades towards one another. They don't have to crush into each other. And we're drawing them down our backs. We don't have to slam them down our backs. So let's keep that idea of our shoulder blades plugged in and down. Again, we're resisting movement. We're gonna reach our arms forward, but our shoulders still pull back. We can inhale up, and then we're gonna do our bent variation of what we've just been doing. Still pulling the elbows back, pulling the hands back, but the arms are bent this time. All right, we inhale as we reach forward and up. We exhale as we come down. Keep going at your own pace. I'm gonna show you what I mean from the side. So as we reach forward, rather than the shoulders coming with that movement, we're drawing shoulders down and back. So we inhale, overhead, we draw shoulders down and back, showing our muscles as we come down, and we keep our shoulders in that down and back position as we reach forward. In other words, good posture the whole way through. Before you ever watched this video, you probably knew slouching is not ideal. So we want to keep that tall, confident posture the whole way through. Moving at a comfortable pace, whatever that comfortable pace is to you. Ideally inhaling on the way up to help our ribs expand, And then exhaling on the way down to help our leg muscles tighten in. And do you remember when I said earlier, pull the nose back? So if you are becoming like a hungry chicken with the head coming forward, let's engage the muscles in the back of the neck, pulling the head back. You might even want to pretend that you're leaning against a wall and you're pressing your head into the wall. Okay, our legs are probably feeling it by now. Last one here. Okay, option. If you would like a lot of work today, we can stay in this bent, strong, powerful position. If you would like less work, we can be in more of a Tai Chi position, okay? Option 1, option 2, or we could be somewhere in between. The wide base will help us stay stable as we do our final strong stretch like this. Okay, so our elbows are roughly at shoulder height. We always have the option to look at our own arms. We can spread our fingers or make a fist, yogi's choice. We're gonna pull our elbows back to the wall behind us. So you can see how this would be a lot of work if you were still like in this really strong low plie or wide squat. We can take it easier. You could be seated, you could be standing, lots of options here, but I do like the wide feet. So even if you are in a chair, you can take your feet wider and it just gives us a wide, stable base. Pull back and squeeze, pull the head back. Let's go one arm at a time. Here we go. Making sure elbow and shoulder in line. We don't get the same effect if it's dropped down. So we can pull up and we can pull back, and let's turn and look in the opposite direction. Let's take one more breath in. We've got the other side. Here we go. Make it strong. We pull back. We can choose as much or as little lower body as we work as we want. Sometimes even just bending the knees a bit makes our muscles kick in and keeps our whole core and pelvic area more stable, so we're not kind of blowing in the breeze as we're moving our arm. Pull, pull, pull. Resist and twist. And let's again check back in with our body awareness. Is our body following our nose or our elbow, or can it still be stable in the center? Let's take another breath. And we're ready to bring it in. Okay, do we remember we have a stick or a stretchy band or a belt or something like that? Go ahead and grab it. And we're gonna do that same motion, but now we have some resistance. So ideally we're in behind the head. Perhaps you've had some recent kind of shoulder thing or long-standing shoulder thing. You could be in front of your head as well. You can pull the hands away, but if we can get in behind, let's pull our hands away from one another and also pull the elbows back. So we have some resistance here, so that we're not just limply holding or limply hanging out, but that we get a different stretch sensation, hopefully an increased stretch sensation, by plugging our shoulders down and back, bending our elbows, pulling back, and then pulling the hands away from one another. That's the real key. And you may notice, like me, your stick isn't completely straight. You may have one leg longer than the other, one shoulder higher than the other. We're still working towards symmetry, even if it's not perfect. Well, let's keep breathing. We can have the chest lifted or neutral. We can have a back bend here lifting the tailbone as well, or we could be neutral, or we could try both of them. Okay, keep pulling the hands away from one another. Let's turn the head side to side. And the other way. Let's go ahead and look up and down. We'll pull the nose back. And we can let this go. We'll do one more in behind our backs. Ideally turning palms forward. We'll roll those shoulders down and back. And we can pull the hands away from one another just as we've been doing. After a break, you may actually like to add our big wide squat as well, giving us a bit more stability. And again, might feel nice to add movements of the head and neck. And then our big ta-da for the end, we'll keep our hands on our stick. And no rush to get here, but we will start to hinge forward from our hips. So a neutral spine. And we can just keep going, going, going until we feel a good stretch sensation. And then we can punch our hands down, keeping that strong posture in our shoulders. And we can lift up until we feel a good stretch, still pulling the hands away from one another. And some of us may be, like way, way, way down, getting a nice deep stretch. Some of us may have bent knees or even resting our belly on our thighs. And we can give our heads a gentle shake. And of course, we want to nod our heads yes. We'll use strength to come back up. So really press into the heels, we'll bend our knees. The muscles of our legs are working. Long spine, lifting our hearts to come up. And when we get to the top, there we go. We are done. I hope we're feeling good in our neck and shoulders and our tall posture. And I hope our hearts are open as we come towards the end of February. Have a great day.